Hey guys, I am Jason McDaniel, and I'm here today to show you how to set up a secure home network. So first things first, let's get into it. So first things first, let's talk about our connection method that we will be using. We're going to be connecting wirelessly because I have reasons. While Ethernet is faster and there is less risk of you actually getting attacked, not all the devices that I will be connecting to the network, not all of them support Ethernet, so we're gonna have to connect wirelessly. And so that kind of brings me to all the network components that we'll need to get the network running to begin with. So the modem, that's really key. That allows all the data to actually be traveled throughout the network and to the devices. We also have we would be using fiber optic cables just because that's the fastest and new cable that all well, not all, but that new wireless networks use now. So the fiber optic cable will allow the data to be transferred to the modem, and then that data will be transmitted from the modem to the hub, where it will be sent throughout the switches, which will allow our network to connect to devices. And then since we're connecting wirelessly, we'll need a router. So basically our modem transmits that data and then transmitted through the network switches and the router, and then that data is displayed on your computer or whatever device that you're using to connect to your network. So that gets us to all the devices that I will actually be connecting to our network. So first, my phone, my iPad, laptop, desktop, and then server for network attached storage, and so we can use it as a subnet router for stuff I will explain later in the video for our home security system. So now let's actually talk about security and how we're going to secure this network. First, just a basic tip that everyone should be doing, no matter if you are a computer nerd like I am, or just beginning to use computers or devices. Just make sure you have a strong password. When you have a strong password, you're less likely to, get attacked for your network. And not just for your network, but for all the devices that you are using to connect to your network. Also, make sure, if you can, have the virus and at least the default antivirus, and at least the default firewall protection enabled on all your devices. Just for more security. Next, kind of another more basic thing that you should be doing is going to your network's web interface. Most wireless networks nowadays have them, and this basically allows you to, restart your modem, remove unsuspecting devices from your network. So if you see a device that's unrecognizable to you, you might want to, remove it. Change your password, which you might, want to do when you first set up your network. Also, you can turn off or pause Wi-Fi for your network as well. And that's what you can do in your internet service providers web interface. There's a lot more stuff you can do, but I'm not going to really go into it right now. All or most, I should say, internet service providers now, at least the major ones like AT&T, Xfinity, all those ISPs have network web interfaces now that allow you to control most of the things on your network. And also make sure when you do go in there, make sure you, if you can, check for a router firmware update somehow, because you want to keep that up to date and make sure that that you're secure. And now we're going to get into the more technical stuff. Now we're going to talk about this app that I'm going to use for more network security, network management, and kind of how we set up our home security system. So the app that I use, it's called Tailscale, and it's open source. I think it's open source. And it uses the WireGuard protocol, so everything is encrypted. And there's things that you can use for this app. You can use it for, server hosting, VPNs, network attached storage, NAS. You can also use it to tail drop files from specific devices on your network, which is a really easy convenience. This is the whole reason why I have it screen recording, actually. So we're gonna go in Tailscale. Let me let me turn down that speech. The rate of that speech, I know you could probably see it too.
25%.
But
page 1 of 3. Adjustable.
We're gonna go
page 2 of 3. Tailscale.
into the Tailscale app.
Tailscale. Activate to dismiss pop-up window. Done. Button.
I was already in here before.
Tailscale VPN status. Connect. Tailscale VPN status. Tailscale VPN status. Connected. Switch button. On. This switch allows you to turn the Tailscale VPN on or off. Double tap to toggle setting.
At the top, it allows you to turn on and off your VPN.
Jason@gmail.com. This is the name of your tailnet.
That's just the name of my tailnet. That's my personal email. So sorry if I'm sharing. Sorry for sharing my personal email, but
connected.
That's the name of my
This is the status
tailnet.
of the Tailscale VPN.
And then it says it's connected.
Open settings button. Tap to change your Tailscale settings and manage your account. Activate to
and
dismiss
then I
pop-up
can
window.
open
Button.
Tailscale settings.
Done. Settings. Head. Jason@gmail. You can manage your account from the admin console. View.
We'll go into the admin console a little later.
Update available. V1.74.
Yeah, I can update it. I'll do that off camera.
Update. VPN on demand. Button.
VPN on demand. I think this is like a new feature. I don't know what it is.
DNS settings. Button.
There's your DNS settings. We're not gonna focus on DNS right now.
Tailnet lock not enabled. Button. Device name. Button. Bug report. Device name. Button.
And then there's device name. You can change the names of your devices. You can also do that in the admin console.
Bug. About Tailscale. Done. Button.
Those are your Tailscale settings.
Tailscale. Jason. Connected. Open. Exit. None.
Exit nodes. So
Open exit node settings. Button.
let's go in here.
Activate to dismiss.
So the reasons why you want to use exit nodes is if you this is basically part of the VPN part. So if you're connected on a
YouTube,
separate
now,
network.
91 tech. Death of the iPhone 15.
Sorry for that notification. I should have put that on Do Not Disturb. For the exit nodes, the reasons why you want to use them is because when you're on a public network, there's going to be a very, very great risk of an attack because those networks are very, very unsecure. So you want to be, using some kind of VPN, some kind of exit node, and this is what I use. So, basically what the exit node does is you select the exit node.
Choose exit node. Selected. Exit node. None. Status. Exit. Selected. Exit node. None. Status. Active. Image. Exit node. Jason S. Personal desktop. Status. Not active. Tap. Tailscale VPN status.
I selected
Connected. Switch button.
the exit node. So now the exit node's on. So what it does is when you're connected to these networks, or when you're connected to your home network too, but we're just talking about public networks, for example, it will route all your network traffic back to that exit node. So when you are connected to that exit node, if an attacker is trying to, attack or trying to, steal your info and trying to find out, like what network you're connected to, it doesn't know, or he or she doesn't know what what public networks you're connected to, because to them, you're not using a public network. It just thinks you're at your house. So if you already have strong security already on your home network, it's going to be, it's going to be way more difficult for that hacker to get into your home network for them to, instead of them trying to get into one of those public networks. So that is why I use exit nodes.
Jason connected. Open set exit. Jason open exit node set. Disable button.
And then I can disable my exit node if I just want.
Search text feed. Jason McDaniel X main iPhone. Jason McDaniel.
And then all that's really left in here in the Tailscale app. And this app is available for iOS, Android, Windows, Mac OS, and Linux. So basically all the major operating systems. I'm just using it on iOS right now because I decided to just screen record, on here. But if I click on one of these devices,
Tailscale addresses heading.
It's going to show me all the addresses. So it's going to show me the Tailscale IP4, IP6,
Jason-McDaniel-CPAP-min copy. Magic DNS.
And it's going to show me the magic DNS address.
100.100 copy. Button. IPv4. FE7 copy. IP key expiry.
And then it's going to show me when the key expires. So when you log into your Tailnet, each device gets a key. And when that key expires, you have to re-authenticate to your Tailnet. And when you sign up for Tailscale, you log into you enter your email, and then you can use whatever provider you want to use. You can sign in with Google, GitHub, Microsoft, and then I think there was one other one, Apple. And that's how you connect to your Tailnet.
Jason circle. Back button. Back button. Jason McDaniel SIP. Jason S laptop.
So let's go into the admin console.
Jason connected. Open setting. Exit node. Jason open settings button.
Where is it?
Tap to change. Activate to dismiss pop-up window. Settings. Jason. You can manage your Jason. You can manage your account. You can manage your account from the admin console. View admin console. Link.
This admin console is a web interface.
Get started. Link. And search by name. Owner. Tag. Add device. Pop-up button.
And it brings me to my machines menu.
Read documentation about KB article about Mac machines. Heading level 1.
And
Get started. Set. Access controls.
there is
Users. Services. Link. Apps. Link. Machines. Visit.
there are
Link.
machines,
Navigation.
apps,
Services.
services,
Link. Users.
users,
Link. Access controls. Link. Logs. Link. DNS. Link. Settings. Visit.
So I'm not going to get into how to set access controls, but the basics of how it works is you click on access controls, and then there is a tailnet policy file that you edit, and it has certain syntax you have to use, but I'm not gonna get into that technical stuff right now.
DNS logs.
But that is basically what I'll do to the access controls, or what I'll use to establish what rules, what devices get on a network. Oh yeah, and I forgot to mention with the exit nodes. There are also molded exit nodes like that, kind of act like more like a regular VPN, but you gotta pay to use those. And I'd rather just use an exit node that is one of my devices. So now we're going to talk about our home security system. I don't actually have one of these set up on my network right now because in my house right now I don't have a bunch of like smart locks and lights and cameras and all that stuff, because my parents don't know like a bunch about technology. So yeah, I'm the tech guy in the house. So so I don't actually have it set up on my network, but if I'm not going to really get technical with it. But when you do set it up on your network, first you have to have whatever device you want to configure as a subnet router. It could be a server, it can be a desktop like I'm using for my exit node. It's basically like an exit node, because with an exit node, it's got to be a device that that you can have powered on 24/7, that you can leave on all the time. So it's kind of the same thing with the subnet router, and the subnet router will allow devices that that can't connect to Tailscale regularly. It will allow those devices to connect to Tailscale, your tailnet, through the subnet router. So I'm not going to go into a bunch of detail on how to actually set that up, but when you set up your Tailscale Home Assistant, when you go into Home Assistant set it up, you go into Tailscale, set up your subnet, blah blah blah, configure all the technical stuff, and then you go into Home Assistant. There's a .yaml file, and you import that into Tailscale, and then you use that to configure all your home stuff, and then you can control your stuff all throughout the world, encrypted on your tailnet. Because basically, when you really think about it, we technically have two networks here. Technically, we have our tailnet, which is our Tailscale network, that we're using to set up all this stuff. And then we have our actual network that we use to set up, or our actual network that we use to connect to the internet. So yeah, so that's pretty much how we set up Home Assistant and Tailscale. I'm not going to go through all. I'm not going to go all through that stuff, just because if I did, it would be like a 4-hour video, and it doesn't need to be a 4-hour video. So just the final thing I'm going to go through, which I'm not going to go through all the technical stuff with this either, is your NAS, network attached storage, and basic Tailscale SSH. So your NAS, it's like a little box, so it's like a server. You can get like a Synology, you can like buy like a Synology or Unraid or Map. There's like different kind of NASs out there. Some of them already come with like a Tailscale package because they're running Linux. So you configure Tailscale on it. And basically, what the point of the NAS is it will allow you to share. It will allow all your files to sync throughout your network. So like an FTP, it's basically an FTP server. So it'll allow all the files to sync throughout your network, to all your devices that are connected on your tailnet. So, so this is really useful if you don't want to use cloud storage, which I don't really like using cloud storage because, it's running through cloud servers. If I use a NAS, it's just connected on my network, and I don't have to worry about actual, cloud storage. It's more secure and it's more end-to-end encrypted. So, again, I'm not going to go into a bunch of technical detail on like how to actually set it up, but if you want to learn more, there's plenty of stuff out there. Finally, SSH. Not gonna go into too detail, but basically server stuff will allow you to SSH into a server remotely. Like for example, if you're not on your NAS, or if you're not actually at your location of your NAS, and you need to manage something on your server, or update packages, or do whatever, you can just establish the access controls for SSH, for Tailscale SSH, and then set it up on your server so you can SSH into your server using your devices. So that's pretty much all the networking stuff that I do to set up my home network. Some of it's really technical, but some of it's, when you do it, it's actually really good, and you will be really secure. So that basically the video recap. So first we went over how we set up our network, and then we went over how to secure our network. So basic security practices, and then we talked about Tailscale. So that is basically our video.
Brave.
And
Multitasking control center.
See you later.
Focus. Screen mirroring. Focus. Mute. Flashlight. Notes. Camera. Selected. Screen recording.